He's going to deepen awareness. This is why the weekly content's going to come in a minute. That's really important. And then website clicks are always retargeted. So retargeting strategies. We want to retarget new relevant likes. With Brian, we retargeted video with a boost post. Yours can be a blog article. Yours could be a curated article, which could say, hey, remember I've been talking about this, and this authority site agrees with me, and I wanted you to read it. Or it could be your opinion. We encourage you to do a minimum of 2 boost posts, to do a boost post at least twice per week. Now, Brian just seems to have a lot of effectiveness with his Facebook live feed, which you may decide is, hey, twice a week you have a blog post that comes out, and that's important to get in front of your audience. The more consistent you can be, like Brian, hey, everyone, every Tuesday I'm going to do a Facebook live feed at 7. People expect it, and they know when it's going to happen. Hey, everyone, on Saturday at 1 p.m., I'm going to do a Facebook live feed on X. So he knows exactly when he's going to hold his 2 events. He tells his audience that, and then once the Facebook live feeds are done, he then boosts a post each time for $5 a day for 3 days, and you retarget the website visitors and his new likes. Now, again, a lot of people just stop right here, right? And that's what Brian did before, and then he came to me and he's like, Kurt, this isn't working for me. I don't understand. I've spent $400. It didn't work. Somebody hired someone. They didn't help. Kurt, you're this is one of the things that I'm passionate about why I do these trainings here. He goes, Kurt, your agency, like for me, it's just expensive to work with for what I'm doing right now. I just really want some help. And that's really where I drew out this 12-step scale process so I could easily show people, look, here are the 12 steps. We can help you with any of the steps, but at least here's the 12 steps, so at least you know what to do next. So Brian's like, listen, here's what we're going to do. Let's make this, and this is where I got it from you. He says, let's make this fun and easy. So how are we going to do the weekly content, weekly events, call to action, buyer, non-buyer follow-up, additional products and services, and then leverage the AI? Brian doesn't really design landing pages, so this is a lot of extra stuff for him to do. Well, we can make it really fun and easy. So the weekly content strategy. Weekly content strategy is we want to test your best affinity market with weekly content. So just as I mentioned before, remember we were getting those 23 cent website clicks? Well, I'm going to find what some of my best boost posts ideally should be turning into an ad, a website click ad where I'm using that post and all that social credibility, but I'm using that website, that ad to run website clicks to target the place where I'm getting my best likes, because that's my already qualified audience. So just imagine we're targeting entrepreneurs and nutrition with Brian. They've seen a like campaign, they didn't like it, but now they're seeing weekly articles in front of them, giving them different exposure, giving them a reason to click on the article, like the page. One way or another, we know we're targeting the right qualified person. We want to retarget anytime someone reads content. If we have a smaller audience, we just want to retarget them twice a week with our boost posts and only retarget website visitors. As you start growing thousands of visitors per page over time, then you start segmenting out on, did this person only go to the opt-in but never saw my first video? Did this person only go to the buy but didn't have the next part? So Brian's weekly content, he's always posting at least 2 to 3 times daily. Now, quick little tip. If you're posting 2 to 4 times a day, that's good. That's like a C or a B in school. Not a grade in school. Not too bad. But I know some really large clients that are posting, and again, this is just a matter of perspective, posting 10 to 15 times a day. Now, they schedule the posts out, and they make unique images, and they find sayings and phrases online that works real well, but no one's copying and pasting the post. They might see a Muhammad Ali quote, and they'll just find a different picture of Muhammad Ali and write it with different text on the photo, and it might be motivational. But what they do is they find out the postings, they're not spamming people, because remember, Facebook's brilliant, has smart people working for them. So Facebook knows what content people are going to like. And you may post 15 times in a day. Our logic tells us, well, wait a minute, that floods people's news feeds. No, 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 no. What Facebook does is Facebook knows from the fans that you have, oh, this content that you posted, the 5th piece and the 8th piece, this person, John, really enjoys this type of content. He didn't enjoy the other type of stuff that you posted. So consider posting more than 4 times a day. What I like to do is in the morning, in the afternoon, and in the evening. So there's 3 times right there. You can just imagine kind of your schedule. Like for me, I roll out of bed and I look at my phone. As I'm looking at my phone, I'm looking at emails, checking out my time for the day. What am I going to do? Then I'm on my computer for the next 8 hours. Typically, and then I go back to my phone. I don't have a tablet. So I think about how would I target people different kinds of day with my content. So Brian also emails his leads 5 times a week. He has a monthly theme and then breaks down into weekly aligned content pieces. And we cover this in social media ad genius as well too. So genius tips. A qualified click is a qualified lead. Don't forget that, very important. Weekly content builds on branding. Weekly content builds on value and rapport. Weekly content keeps people engaged. Increase diversified exposure with content, right? We just want to keep that content up in front of people. All right, let's talk about weekly events. So Brian's weekly event was 2 Facebook Live events each week, right? Each Facebook Live event gets boosted for 3 days for $5 a day to likes and all website clicks. So he's always being consistent in front of people. Each week, build for the next event. So Brian's either saying, like, for example, he has a video that he does on Tuesday. He'll tell people, hey, check out my page for some for some free nutritional videos. And don't forget, on Saturday at 1 p.m., I'm going to have another Facebook Live event where I'm going to talk about X. You're always talking about the next event, right? It could be a new item that you're selling. It could, you want to leave with content, or it could be a webinar is coming up on Saturday. It could be a video is coming out. It could be a new blog article. You always keep people moving forward. And events can be either content or sales-based. Again, you want people to be able to participate with you on a regular basis. You don't always have to be selling something, but if you think like JCPenney, they have a sale every week, like President's Non-President's Day because Martin Luther King was born on a Thursday, sale because Abraham Lincoln, like whatever. And you're like, they have a reason almost every week to have a different sale. So also always align with a clear call to action, what to do next. No is never a permanent answer from someone qualified to consume your content and event. So if we really focus on the avatar and we focus on that steps 1 through 7 before we get them here, well then we just follow up with retargeting. So we have that weekly call to action. So Brian's weekly call to action is, hey, contact him on Facebook directly. It says, hey, reach out to me directly if you have any questions, or go visit his nutritional funnel where he says, hey, get 7 free nutritional videos. So the weekly genius tip, you want to leverage qualified clicks to a call to action. Now, just because they did not like your page, just because they did not comment or like any of your posts, like I said, they couldn't if they didn't like your page, or even if they went to your website and didn't buy anything, you will find and discover, people will either find you out like in public or send you an email. I've been reading your content for months. I haven't liked or commented on anything, but it really meant a lot to me when I saw that. So keep remarketing with people, because there really is no cold marketing after step number 8, and we know that this is a warm market. And we're always edifying, reconfirm, and validate with a clear call to action. So hey, you're doing great right now. Remember, we're on step 9. We're about ready to move to step 10. Once we get to step 10, we want to take action. So we want to edify, reconfirm, validate, clear call to action. Buyer, non-buyer follow-up. Now, we can get really fancy to say follow-up with emails for buyers and then retargeting for non-buyers. There's all these different things that we can do. But again, Brian didn't have a whole heck of a lot of time. So when we're talking about follow-up with your sales, follow-up with your non-buys, Brian doesn't have 500 buyers a week right now. Brian has like 5 to 10. He can physically call each buyer and say, thank you, I appreciate you, I love you. So buyer, non-buyer follow-up. Well, the way that Brian does it is it does his weekly content. So he's following up by emails and retargeting likes with boost posts. So that's how he's figuring out the non-buyer follow-up. Even the buyer follow-up, they still want to see those boost posts anyway. He turns highly relevant boost posts into full-time ads driven by website clicks. So when Brian has a buyer, Brian just calls them. And by the way, if you're just starting out and you're just starting out online, even if it's e-commerce, until you start getting a couple hundred calls a month, literally and I used to run call centers, but amazing business owners say this all the time, reaching out, calling and talking to your customers, seeing what problems they're running into, seeing what they like, what they don't like. I love to get on the phone. That's why we're doing these live trainings. I love to get on the phone and be able to answer questions. Now, I can't do that very well one-on-one just because my time is limited and lots of people have questions. So I like doing trainings like this to where we can at least advance the information, answer some questions on the own as well, at the end as well too. But again, if you're just starting out, call your customers, tell them thank you. No one does that, and you'll learn so much. So lead follow-up genius tips. Just because they don't buy this time doesn't mean they're not going to buy in the future. Follow up with non-bias with weekly context. Qualified click plus a qualified lead equals more solutions required for conversion. It just means something on your landing page, something with your offer didn't relate or align to that avatar. But we can adjust our messaging and we can adjust our different offers. And we want to segment our audience based on actions and or surveys. So additional products and services, this is one of my favorite parts. So consider different ways to allow people to participate with you often and early. So remember, I'm not saying if you, for example, if you have a $297 product, I'm not saying that you have to offer $7 like as a tripwire so they buy something. What I'm saying is, for me, I am really passionate about the scale method. Very passionate, because I know that it works, and I know it's helped lots of entrepreneurs. So some people take a look at the scale method and said, hey, I'd love to jump in, and I'd love to do everything with you guys right now. I'd like to participate with your coaching, I'd like to do everything. Great, that's where we can really help get started. Some people say, I don't know if I'm ready. And they may be financially, but they're not mentally. That's great. That's why we did the Choose Your Own Adventure, so people can learn on their own. See, the other thing is we do live events like this, so as people are considering to join us on the scale method, then people can see what the content is, and they can really see if it's for them, and if it works for them as well, too. But we have additional products and services, so as people come through, like for us, our Choose Your Own Adventure training, depending if you click on the video, intermediate, genius, or beginner, we have different products or services and solutions that can assist you that we'll be retargeting because of the traffic that we get from the videos. And it's all to really help serve you better instead of saying, let's put everybody in one big, gigantic pile and target everyone the same. And you get targeted based off your own experience, what's going to help the most. So what we like to do is offer payment plans. We offer payment plans to people for different products and services that we have, so people can participate and say, like people, for instance, will get started with Social Media Ad Genius with us, and I'll tell you about that in a second, but they'll be like, oh my goodness, I love the training. Now I want to do scale and everything else. But that was just the easiest thing for me to do just to get started and get something happening. Great. So what we did for additional products and services with Brian, $197 was not converting for him right after people would opt into his nutritional videos. So basically what we did is we went through Brian's automated emails, and as he set up the autoresponder, we found key dates. And those key dates would be along like the 5th email, the 8th email, the 10th email. That's when he's selling something. That's when he's sending an offer out to someone. So I showed Brian how to go to Aweber, so when people landed on email 4 or email 6, and it was the time where Brian was offering something to buy, Brian could look at those email addresses, email people directly and say, hey, if you have any questions on today's video, here's my phone number. So he knew exactly what people to reach out to when they were in his funnel. That's huge. He also connects with people on social media. He gets their email, looks at their email, connects with them on social media. Again, that's just more one-on-one because of the products that he sells. Facebook posts. So if he ever says, hey, I want to generate some extra cash to pay for advertising, he'll do a post, he'll do a live Facebook feed, he'll do a live Facebook video. He'll talk about a certain topic and say, hey, I'm offering some free consulting. Call this phone number at this time, between this time and this time. If the number is busy, please call back again. Or if you get my voicemail, please call back again. I will return your call quickly, but I'm only taking 5 calls to go over this. Those generate instant phone calls. Well, what Brian decided to do is he goes, look, I want to pay for my advertising. I just spent almost $300 on advertising. He goes, I know that I got thousands of likes. I know I got a whole bunch of leads, but I got to replenish that money, right? I got to get my advertising paid for because I know I got qualified people. I just got to pay for my advertising. Great. So what he does is he says, okay, I'm going to run a fire sale, or I'm going to run a special offer to non-buyers for $97, which is typically a $197 product. Now, the amazing thing when he did that, I didn't even tell you the Shecky, he got 8 new sales at $97 each. That's $776. Ad spend for 2 weeks was $259. He got over 51 new leads just in the last couple of days, but he also got 4,000 new likes to his page. He has a new, I didn't address that in. He has a new way, he has now a new product to offer people who don't buy at that $197 first. Remember, price is typically not the reason why someone doesn't buy with you. Typically. I mean, people can say, hey, I can't afford this level. But typically, if the pain is great and someone knows, like for me, I know with the scale method, there's someone who's just spending $2,000 a day that just recently joined us in her specific niche. And I gave her one idea, and she goes, oh my goodness, affinity audiences. I was selling just a couple of t-shirts a day to look at these numbers, and they were huge.